Yeah. For each field, we define one clean method, and this method is suffixed with field name, and it is an instance method, and this is what we have seen. And after that, I said about form level validation. So form level validation is nothing but validating multiple fields. For performing form level validation, clean method of superclass must be override within the form class. So here you are trying to check one field or multiple fields, multiple fields. Yesterday we are started with some registration. So here I need to check some validations. So here we are doing some validations. And what are those validations are field level validations. Okay. We are doing which validations? Field level validations. Correct. Field level validations. Okay. So multiple fields, you can try to verify the validations by just overriding one method. And what is the name of that method is clean. What is the name of the method is clean. Yesterday we have seen this. Now in this, you are trying to say username full match with backslash W means what here? Word characters. Backslash W is what here? Word characters. And this word characters plus means one or more repetitions. If M is equal to none, then it raises what? Validation error. In the same way, you have to read the password and you have to verify is it that password is valid or not. So password should contain alphabets, digits, and special character. So it should contain at least four alphabets and two digits and two special characters. So what you have to do first, read password. Okay, read the password from cleaned data. So I'm writing a data of what is the name of the field is password. The name of the field is password. And inside this, you are counting. Count to one, count to two, count to three. I try to declare how many variables here? Three variables. So that is a count to one, count to two, and one more is a count to three. So count to one is for alphabets count, and count to two is a digits count, and count to three is a special characters count. Okay, special characters count. Okay, so that is a count to one, count to two, and what is a count to three. So what do you do it every time? Every time you are reading one character. So every character you read from the string is a string. Every character you read from the string is what? A string only. Every character you read the string you read from string is called a string only. Okay, right? Suppose you have a string like this. Within double quotes, whatever you write is called string. Every character you read from the string is one more string. Okay, every character what you read from the string is one more string. But this is single character. The string contain how many characters? Single character, right? So what you can do is you can write if character dot is alphabet. If it is a character is alphabet plus one. If the character is digit, else else if character is what digit. So count to two plus one. Okay, else it is which character? Special character. I've written like this. If if character one is less than what? 4, or count to 2. Count to 2 is less than 2, or count to 3 is less than 2. Then what do you do? It rise forms dot which error? Validation error. Invalid. So password should contain. I'm raising an error by saying password should contains four alphabets, 2 digits, 4 alphabets, 2 digits, and two special characters. Okay, alphabets, it should contain 4 alphabets, 2 digits, and two special characters. By calling which method here? Clean method. So clean is to verify one validation or multiple fields validation. Multiple fields. I try to check the validation of a name. I try to check the validation of a username. I try to check the validation of what? Password. Now you're not checking validation for one field. You're checking validation for multiple fields. Okay, right? So that is done by writing which method? Clean method. Yes. So when this clean method is called, when this clean method is called, the clean method is called when you call is valid method. When you call which method? Is valid method of form. Whenever you call is valid method of form, is valid method call clean method. And this clean method is calling the superclass clean method that returns data, cleaned data dictionary. And from that, you are reading the values and you are verifying is it these values are correct or not. If it is not correct, it raises error. If it is correct, then it should return this cleaned data or not. Yes, return. What it returns? Data. And what is the data is? Cleaned data. This data is which data? Clean data. So when it will return this, if this condition doesn't raises any error. If raises error, then is it return statement is executed? No. But this clean method display how many errors at a time? Only one error. So first it is verifying what is that name, and name raises error. If name is rising error, it doesn't check for what? Username. If username is rising error, then it doesn't check for what? Password, right? So after developing this form, registration form, you render this form, okay, you render this form into what? Template. Render this form into what? Template. Okay. So, but before rendering it, develop a view. Develop a view to display which form? Registration. Okay. Now there is one view. What is the name of the view? Register. What is the name of the view? Register. And this view receive the request. It will receive the request from whom? Client. It will receive the request from whom? Client. Right? So what that request contain? So that request contain input data. It means this register method handle two requests. One is a get request and one more is a post request. If the request method is a get, it should create one empty form. If the request method is get, it should create one empty form, and that empty form should be rendered into template. I should create one empty form and I should render that empty form into what? Template. Suppose here I'm not writing any method. It means what is the default method is get. So what I'm doing, I'm trying to say form. I'm saying form equal to, where is my form is application dot forms import. What is the name of the form? A register form. Okay. I created which form? A register form I create. And this register form should be rendered. This register form should render into one template. So response equal to render, response equal to render, request comma, request comma, you need to define the template. Okay, what is the name of the template? Some register template dot HTML, and to this template you are sending the form. And how can you send the form? As a context parameter. How you are sending the form? As a context parameter. So form object is sent and return. What you written here? Response. What is the object you written here? Response. Okay. Now you have to create a template. What is the name of the template is? Register template. Register template. So create a folder here. What is my folder is templates, and inside this template I create one template called register template dot html, and inside this template you are inserting the form. You are inserting the form. I'm writing a table. Okay, table border. I just define the width of this table, width of this table, and then I'm saying here form. Okay, form. And here you are inserting a form. Form dot. What is the name of that form? What is the name of the key? Sorry. What is the name of the key? So what is the key? Form. Okay. Now you have to insert which object? Form object. Form dot as a, you are inserting form as a table. You are inserting form as what? Table. You are inserting form as a table. You are inserting form as a table, right? Yes. Then you create one button here. So input type, and input type is a submit, and value is what here? Register. What is the values? Register. And input type. Now create. So create a row here. So input type. So input type equal to reset. Input type equal to reset, and value equal to what here? Clear. Input type equal to reset and value equal to clear, right? So we render the form inside the template as what here? Table. Okay, then go to the urls.py. Just go to urls.py and define the URL app.views. App.views import. What is the name of the view? Register. Define the path. And what is the path is? Register, comma, register. This is a URL. And you are calling this view with what name? Register. View name and URL name both are same. Hmm. View name and URL name both are same, right? So you are calling this view by using what URL? Register, right? Yes. Then after this, run the server, install the application. Have you installed application? No. So install the application and define the template path. So what is the template path is? Base directly slash what is that? Templates. Wherever it is there, you can write it. But here I've just defined templates. So run the server python manage dot py run server. Okay, run the server here. So here I'm writing register. So once I say register, now it's asking to enter the name and you are trying to input what? Username and you are trying to input password. But this is a password input field or not? Yes. Because Django form doesn't provide any field type. Django form doesn't provide any field type called which one? Password field. So if it doesn't provide a password field, then you are using HTML field. And that HTML field type is called which one? Widget. And what is a widget you are using? Password input. Password input. Now see the view source code. See the source code here. So page view, page source code. You can see input type equal to which one? Password. But actually here I take input type is what? Here I've taken input type as what? Character field. If the input type is character field, what is the input type will be? Text. Okay, text. But I want to convert that text into which type? Password input. Then you are taking widget. Widget is for applying which elements? HTML elements. And which element you are applying? Password input. Because you don't have forms doesn't have directly password field. Doesn't have which field? Password field. But I want to create which field? Password field. Then what I do? I create a character field and apply one widget. Apply one widget. What is the widget you apply? Password input. It means the data what you enter inside this character field should not be visible. Visible or should not be visible? Should not be visible. Right? So for that, you are using a password input. Right? Okay, done this. You enter all the details. After giving all the details, click on. After giving all the details, click on what? Register. Once I click on register, this form is sent to which view? See, this form is sent to which view? Register only. Is it URL is changed or not changed? Not changed. Because I want to send it to the same view. If I'm typing URL and press enter, this is called which request? Get request. If the request method is a get, if the request method is a get, it should execute this logic. If request dot method equal to get, then it execute this logic. Which logic? Where I create one empty form, I render that empty form into the template and generated what? Response. But after typing details, after typing the details into the form, if I click on submit button, I'm sending a request to the same form. I'm sending the request to the same form, but what is the request method is? Post. What is the request method I use? Post. So in the request method post, the data is not sent as a part of URL. The data is sent as a part of request body. Now come to the views and here I'm writing else. If the request method is not get, then what is the request method is? Post. In the request method post, you are submitting this data or not? Yes, you are submitting the data to which view again? Register view. And where this data is in? Post. Request dot. What is the name of the dictionary? Post. Now, I want to verify is it this post data is valid or not? I want to verify is it this post data is valid or not? Then how can I do validations? By storing these details into what? Form. By storing these details into what? Form. You have to put these details into a form. So create a form here, form. What is the name of the form? A register form. Register form. You are creating a register form. If I am writing register form like this is called which form? Empty form. This is which form? Empty form. But I don't want to create empty form. I want to create a form with post data. I want to create a form with which data? Post data. How can you create a form with the post data? By saying request dot post. Now this data gets stored into which form? A register form. Why you store inside a form? Because to validate. I want to check validation. Means is it this data is correct or not? Is it this data is correct or not? So form is for input, form is for validation. Form is for input, form is for validation. You populate the data. Means you store this post data into which form? A register form. And after storing this data, you have to verify is it this data is correct or not. But how? By calling one method. What is the name of the method? Is valid. Form dot is valid. If input data within the form is valid, if the form data is valid, if it is valid, what do you do it? Data is valid. I just give one message. Okay, what is the message? Okay, I just give so from Django dot HTTP import. What I'm importing? HTTP response. And here I'm displaying a response equal to HTTP response. And here I'm saying H2. So data is what? Valid. Otherwise, what I have to do? If the data is not valid, means there is some errors are there or not? Yes. Then what I have to do? I have to render which form? Error form. I should render which form? Error form into what? Template. I should render which form? Error form within the template. Then what I have to do? I have to say response. Response. Response equal to render. Render request comma. Request comma. Request comma. What is the name of this is? Register template dot HTML comma. You define the context parameter. What is the name of this is? Form. Form is a key and form is what here? Value. A return. What do you return here? Response. But this response is error or not? Yes. So you have to insert these errors into what? Template. So when should insert errors into the template? If form is having errors. If the form doesn't have errors, it should not insert what? Errors. If form is having errors, then you should insert errors. If the form doesn't have errors, then you should not insert what? Errors. How you check if the form is having errors or not? If form dot, form dot, what is that? Errors. If form dot errors, then insert what? Then what? Insert errors. Insert errors. Form dot errors. End if is begin with what? End with what? End if. So there is a beginning of if and there is what? End of the if. But when it will display the errors? If the errors are there. If the errors are not there, will it display the errors or doesn't display the errors. Okay, right? So this is which form now? Error form. When? If there is a errors. Right. Same template. Template is the same, but you are rendering. First you render which form? Empty form. Second you render which form? Error form. If errors are there. If the errors are not there, if errors are not there, you'll get a message saying that valid data. So come to the client program and here CSRF token you have to write. So percentage CSRF token, right? You have to generate this. So name, what is the name? Well, name should be in alphabets. Username, alphabet digits and special. Only one special character is allowed. That is underscore. So I just write here NIT and password is NIT 12 at the rate dollar. So register some error. What is the error is? Full match. Full match. Forms full match. Where is full match here? So full match re dot full match comma this is right. Will register. You can see password should contain four alphabets, two digits, and two special characters. But what we enter, we'll enter NITT 12 at the rate dollar, right? Yes. So register wise is taking previous data, right? Already saved. So register valid, right? If the data is valid, return data, form dot is valid, return. So we have not written, written what? Response. So register, this data is already there. Okay, register, you can see this data is what now? Valid. If the data is not valid, you'll get the errors. If the data is not valid, then you'll get what? Errors. Now we'll just remove this condition. Remove this condition. Okay. Now what I'm doing is, okay, I try to click on register, but even though it is displayed or not, yes, because it is generated with which form? Error form. See here, password should contain four alphabets, two digits, and two special characters. Suppose I enter the name as 123, username is 123. Now password should contain, because what we have done is username should contain backslash w plus. Backslash w plus means alphabets or digits or special character. It means if I give the name as a 123 also it will accept, because what is backslash w indicates? Alphabets, digits, and special character. And name should contain only alphabets. Suppose I enter 123. Okay, name is 123, right? 123 register. Now name should contain only alphabets. Name should contain only alphabets means every time it is displaying how many errors? Only one error. Every time it is displaying how many errors? Only one error. So you can check all the validations by writing in one method. Which method it is? Or what is that method is? Clean method. So multiple fields means override which method? Clean method. Single field means write a clean method. Underscore which name? Field name. So that is a field level validation, and one more is form level validation. Understood? Right? Yes. Then next we'll see, you can also, forms provided some built-in validators. Okay, form is provided some built-in validators. Are you understood what is a form? What is a form? Form. Form बोलो तो क्या है? Suppose you go to bank, you fill the form. You fill the form or not? Yes. Fill the form. After filling the form, you give it to one person. What that person will do? Check you fill the form correctly or not. That is validation. फॉर्म किसके लिए? इनपुट के लिए और वैलिडेशन के लिए. It is for input as well as validation. To do validations, you have to write which methods? Clean methods. And that can be either field level, that can be either form level. If you want to write it form level, write which method? Clean method. Override which method? Clean method. If you want to write it field level, write clean method underscore with what? Field name. Clean underscore which name? Field name. Okay. But now form also provided some built-in validators. Built-in. Built-in means you don't require to write. You don't require to write validators. Validators. Right? Suppose you have a maximum length, minimum length, like that. You also have some built-in validators which can be applied at which level? Field level. It means you don't require to write a logic. Rather than writing your own validation logic, it is already provided some logics. And that logics you apply, that validations you apply at which level? Field level by using one attribute or keyword argument called validators. So let me talk about that. Now this is views.py. So you have a template here. So what is the template is use a form. This is form. So forms.py. This is views.py. Then this is template. Register template.html. And this is define the URLs .py. Yeah, email ID. Yeah. Then in settings.py, define the path. So working with built-in, working with built-in validators. Working with what here? Built-in validators. I want to work with some built-in validators. Built-in validators. So validators provided by form. Validators provided by forms module that you call it as which one? Built-in validators. So these are available in forms.validators module. Forms.validators module. Okay, forms.validators module. So there is one module. What is the name of this is? Validators. What is the name of the module is? Validators. Okay. So you have a built-in validators like Django provide a comprehensive or set of pre-built validators in the Django dot core dot validators module. What is the name of the validator? Email validator, regular expression validator, minimum value validator, maximum value validator, minimum length validator, maximum length validator, URL what? Validator. All these are inbuilt or is it defined by you or created or provided by form? Provided by forms? Provided by forms, right? Suppose you want to check the email validation. You don't require to write a logic. When you're talking about email validation, how you write an email validation? Email should be in a specific pattern or not? Yes, you'll write ABCD is a name at the rate, and then you'll write gmail.com. So it means always the email should be entered in this format or not? Yes. If email is not in this format, then it should raise what? Error. Then for this, you have to write some logic. You have to check some logic for checking which pattern? Email pattern. But instead of writing your own logic for checking which pattern? Email pattern, you can use built-in validator. What is the name of the validator? Email validator. And you can also add a regular expression validator. Checks if the value matches the specified expression pattern. You can define the pattern you can define the pattern. Which pattern? Regular expression pattern by using which validator? Regular expression validator. You can define maximum length as well as what? Minimum length. Suppose name. Name is there. Name should be maximum length as well as minimum length. Now when you are working with which one? Strings. And URL validator confirms that string is a valid URL or not. When you're saying URL, it contains protocol, it contain what is that slash slash, it is having a pattern or not? Yes. Now you want to check, is it URL is given in a specific pattern or not? That is done by using which validator? URL validator. Getting or not? So these are called built-in validators. Okay. Yes. Apart from that, you can also use, apart from that, you can also create your own validator functions. But these are built-in validator functions. In Django, a validator is a callable, a function or a class with a call method that takes a value and returns which error? Validation error if it doesn't meet the specified condition. They are primarily used to ensure data integrity across the model fields and what? Forms. So for that, you are trying to use which one? Validators. Okay. I just take this definition, documentation definition. This is so input value is correct or not. So there is a built-in validators. So a lot of validators are there. If you see this documentation, if you see documentations here, how many validators are there? All these are validators. Okay. So whichever validator you wanted, you can use that validator. Apart from that, you can also use your own validator. Apart from that, you can also use your own validator, right? Then how can I use this validator? By using one attribute. And what is the name of the attribute is validator, right? So let me tell you with the example here, but I just take. So there are two types of validators. There are two types of validators. Validators. One is built-in validators, and one more is built-in validators, and one more is what? Custom built-in validators, and one more is what? Custom validators. Custom validators are user defined. Custom validators are user defined validators. Custom validators are user defined validators. Okay. So if you talk about built-in validators, so these are built-in validators provided by the Django. But I've written some of them here, not all. Some of them validators are written. And what are those built-in validators like? So it provide validator like email validator, regular expression validator, minimum value validator, okay, maximum length validator or minimum length validator, Then next one is URL validator. If existing validator doesn't provide or doesn't fulfill your requirement, then you build your own validators. If existing validators doesn't fulfill your requirement, then you try to build your own validators. These validators will rise in errors, okay, because these are inbuilt, right? Let me implement with maximum value, minimum value, minimum length, maximum length, email as well as regular expression validator. So let me create again. So take another application. I'm not doing in the same application. I'm creating another project. So why same application means, first of all, you people are confused. Huh? Yes or no? Because you are in one trance. Trance means you are in మీరు ఒక లోకంలో ఉన్నారు. ఒకే లోకంలో ఉన్నారు మీరు. You are in one lokam. Huh? What lokam? Append, insert, remove. Huh? You don't come out of that. Yes or no? అంతేనా కదా? You are there in one trance. Coding means you want only one thing, means that is what do you call it as? Oh, आदत पड़ गया आपको. What without writing any code. Coding you have not done practice. Okay, you remember only methods. Append is for adding, insert is for inserting, remove is for removing, pop is for popping, clear is for removing all the elements, get is for reading. That's all. No logic, no magic. So that's the reason when you start writing program, function, when you start writing a function, you are writing a function with parameters, return, function return the value, function receive the value. You write a function with different types of parameters. Arguments, you will say no, keyword arguments, required arguments, positional, required positional arguments and required keyword arguments, variable length arguments, variable length keyword arguments and variable length positional arguments, default arguments. Yes or no? You learn function with all the types of arguments along with the return value. Same, you are writing a function. What is a view function? What is a view function? What it will do? Receive input. It will receive the input from where? Front end. What is front end? Form. HTML form. You enter the data in HTML form. You submit the data to what? View. And view is verifying it. Is this data is correct or not? If it is correct, you perform certain operations. If it is incorrect, you display the form with some errors or not. Yes. That is what you are writing it. For that, you need to create a form. Previously, we created which form? HTML form. Now also you are creating which form? HTML form. But you are designing that HTML form using which one? Class. Class. Django form is a class. In that class, you define all input fields. Whatever fields you are writing, all those are which fields? Input fields. And each input field is rendered as what? Input element. It will render as which element? Input element. Input element. And insert into what? Template. And that template you are sending to whom? Client. Understood? Right? Yes. You have to understand here. Otherwise, it is not like your NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and Python coding, right? Yes or no? Okay, NumPy means what do you do it? Only methods. Which method is for what? Pandas means which method is for? What? Yes or no? Huh? Which method is to append columns? Which method is for inserting row columns? Which method is for reading the rows columns? That's all. Are you doing anything? No. Are you write any functions? In pandas, you write any functions? No. Have you written any functions? No. You are using functions or writing functions? Using. Data frame provided methods. Use it. But here, are you using or writing? Writing. Development. You are developing application by following the rules. Which rules? Django. Django बोल रहा फॉर्म ऐसे create करो. Write a view like this. You are writing it. You are not using it. You build your own logic. वही बोल रहा हूँ ना. You are in that one area. You stick into one area. एक बाउंड्री डाल के उसके अंदर बैठे आप. वो बाउंड्री से बाहर आ जाना. Otherwise, you cannot do anything in Python. Understood? So you should know how to write the logics, codings, everything. You should know it. Otherwise, it is difficult. Even though if you are after this, for example, you move to generative AI or agentic AI, what do you do it? You write a code, use a code, write a code. You write a logic. Data science people don't write it because they have so many methods. They have their own libraries. But here, no, you have to write. You have to write the logic. You should know the logic building. You have to create workflows and everything done by the programmer only. इसलिए कोडिंग सीखो methods को नहीं. People says Python is nothing but learning methods. Wrong. Methods क्या है? Documentation पढ़े तो आ जाता. Append is append. Insert is insert. Yes or no? First you should know logic. People says learning Python is nothing but learning methods. Correct? No, not correct. Learning Python is not learning methods. You are learning programming language. When you are saying language, the language you should learn logics and logic building and building your own functions, building your own methods, building your own data types, not using here, not using. That is a problem with you people here. Okay. So Django करेंगे बोल के आ जाते. और जब फर्स्ट क्लास में फंक्शन खत्म. अरे ये फंक्शन फिर आ गए इधर. वहां पे समझ में नहीं आया. इधर क्या समझ में आता? खत्म. टाटा बाय बाय. हो गया. हाँ. अभी क्लास आता है. इसके बाद क्लास बेस्ड व्यूज. हाउ मेनी टाइप्स ऑफ व्यूज? टू टाइप्स. फंक्शन बेस्ड, क्लास बेस्ड. यू कैन डेवलप ए व्यू यूजिंग क्लास. नाउ क्लास बोले तो भाग जाते. अगेन खत्म. So, but building a class is nothing but a building data type. So, class is a collection of attributes and methods. Easy, but you have to understand how to write it. Okay, na? So, don't feel bad because क्या बोल रहा हूँ मैं? Come out of that. Okay, and learn logics. Okay, right? Create a project. Start a project. Project. वहाँ पे प्रोग्राम लिखते थे. इधर प्रोजेक्ट डेवलप कर रहे. So project means one program or set of programs. Set of programs. You cannot develop a project. See, project means you cannot develop a project just like that. No. Suppose you learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right? Is it having a project structure is there or not? Yes. Where you put CSS files in CSS. Where you files HTML files in public or not? Yes. HTML is public. CSS images, audio, video, JS, JavaScript. Are you storing all those in individual or not? Yes. You stored in individual folders. Here also same thing. You are developing a backend. You are not developing only backend. You have to develop front end also. Without front end, there is no use of what? Backend. So somebody should be there to communicate, right? You required an interface. What is that interface? UI, user interface. How you develop user interface? HTML. But in Django, that HTML is called what? Template. That HTML is called what? Template. अभी HTML बोले तो सुनते हैं, टेम्पलेट बोल दे, टेम्पलेट क्या है? खत्म. अभी स्टार्टिंग से बोल रहा हूँ मैं. Template is nothing but an HTML file, but it is server side. It is a dynamic where you insert the data dynamically, where you can insert the data dynamically and generate the dynamic web pages. बोल रहा हूँ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ? फिर क्या है यार? Understood? Right? No problem. So, right, let me, after creating a project, so write it, Python, what is this? Start application, write the application name. Oh, start a Python manage dot, देखो, आपको बोलते बोलते मेरा दिमाग चले गया है. हाँ. Hmm. So create a project and create an application within the project. Create a project and create an application within the project. So after that, okay, open the project. So inside the application, create one form. Let me tell you what we are doing here. So I want to create a form. Form is nothing but user interface, and where I'm trying to input what you are trying to input, name. You are trying to input name. Next, what you are trying to input, email. You are trying to input name, email. Then you try to input what? Age. Name, email, age. Okay. Only three fields. Why more fields? Okay. So because, right, name is one field and email is one field and one more field is what? Age. Three fields are there. And after that, you have a button. And what is this button is? Submit. Okay. This is a form. Now name. So name validation. Okay, name should contain only alphabets, but we'll use built-in or we'll use which validators? Built-in validators. Okay, so name should contain only alphabets and email should be in a specific pattern. You have to check for email pattern. Email pattern. Okay, now name should contain only alphabets and at the same time, I want to check for maximum length. I want to check for maximum length. I want to check for what? Minimum length. So maximum length as well as what? Minimum length. Maximum length and minimum length. It should contain only alphabets and maximum length and minimum length. An email pattern should be verified And age you have to define minimum value, a minimum value as well as maximum value. Validator, minimum value validator and maximum value validator. Okay. So I want to do these validations. I want to do this validations, right? This validations, I want to do it. Okay. Then next, what we have to do? We have to create one form or not? Yes. In the application module, application package, right? Forms dot py. So create a form. Sorry, create a form from Django import what here? Forms. And from Django dot core import what? Validators. Where you find the validators in validators module. Where you find the validators in validators module. And where is validators module in core module? And core is in which module? Django. Right? Class. What is this form is? Some form will take person form. Okay, this is which form? Person form. Person form is what? Form. How you develop a form? By inheriting. By inheriting which class? Form class. How you develop a form? By inheriting form class. Inheritance allows you reusability and extensibility. Inheritance allows to build a new data type using existing data type. What is existing data type? Form. So person form is a form. What is the relation is? Form is a type, is a type of, is a type of is what? Relation here. Okay. So what is the first one is name. Name equal to forms dot which field? Character field. Character field. And then I'm checking what here? Validators. Validators. And this validators is a keyword argument. Okay. Now this you use it for applying which one? Validators. You can check either one validator or more than one validator. So here I'm trying to write what is the name of this is? What is the name of this is? Validators dot. Tell me what is the name of the validator? Maximum minimum length validator. Minimum length of a name should be what? At least it should have how many letters? Three letters. Okay, minimum is how many letters? Three letters, comma, validators dot. What is the next one is? Maximum length validator. And maximum length should be how many? 15 letters. But are you right any logic for checking this minimum and maximum? No. Directly we use which validators? Inbuilt validators. If you want, you can write like this also. Core dot, which one? Validators, import. Which validator? Maximum length, maximum length, minimum length. Then you don't require to write. You directly use which validator? Minimum length. Then directly use which validator? Maximum length. Minimum length and maximum length, these are callable. These are which objects? Callable object. And if you want, you can also define error message. So I define the minimum length and maximum length, and I'll try to define the name should contain only alphabets. That I'll define it by using regular expression. Which validator? Regular expression validator. Regular expression validator from Django dot core dot validators. Core dot validators import. Import which validator? Regular expression validator. Comma, I'm using which one? Regular expression validator. And here I have to define the regular expression. Now tell me, what is the regular expression I should define which allows only which one? Alphabets. It should allow only which one? Alphabets, I'm writing A to Z, capital A to Z, and small a to Z. It should contain alphabets, capital A to Z and small a to Z. But how many? What is the minimum is? 3. What is the maximum is? 15. If you want, you can write here. You can write here 3 comma 3 comma what? 15. So this is one pattern or not? Yes. This is one pattern. Which pattern? Array. This is which pattern? Alphabets. Now, the string should contain only which one? Alphabets. And it can be uppercase or it can be lowercase. Minimum is how many letters? 3 letters. Maximum is how many letters? 15 letters. Minimum and maximum. Okay. Then second one is email. Email equal to forms dot which field? Character field. And validators. Validators equal to validators. Now import that. So from Django dot core dot validators. Import which validator? Email validator. I'm creating directly object of which class? Email validator. It should be callable. This is callable. You are calling which object? Email validator. Is it classes? All these are data types. And in Python, data types are nothing but classes are not. Yes, all these are classes. All these are what? Classes. All these are classes. What all these are? Classes. So minimum length validator is a class. Maximum length validator is what? Class. Email validator is what? Class. All these are inbuilt classes. Okay. Right. The next one is age is there. Age forms dot which field? Integer field. Integer field. Then I'm trying to check minimum value and maximum value. Django dot core dot validators import which one? Minimum value validator comma maximum value validator. So what is the minimum value? I'm saying validators. How you are assigning validators? By using one keyword argument. How you are assigning validators? By using one keyword argument. What is the name of that keyword argument? Validators. What is the name of the validator? Minimum value validator. So what is the minimum value should be? Suppose age should be some 18. That is minimum, and there is a maximum value validator. And what is the maximum value is 100. Minimum age should be 18 and maximum age should be what? 100. That is which validator? Age validator. If not, then it rises what here? Error. So you try to check all the validations or not? Yes. But are you write any methods here? No. We try to use which validators? Inbuilt validators. Okay, right? Then this form should be rendered into what? Array. This form should be rendered into what? Template. A form को किधर rent का insert करना? Template में. You have to insert this form within the template. Create one folder. Now you have to understand here. Okay, flow you should understand. Templates. In the templates, create a template. What is the template is? Person template dot HTML. This is a template. But inside this template, it should insert the form. But from where you are sending this form object from? View. Now create a view. This is which view? Some person view. You are sending a request to which view? Person view. What person view is doing? Rendering. It is creating which form? Empty form. If I'm writing directly, if request dot method double equal to what? Getter. You are creating which form? Empty form. From forms dot from application dot forms. Import which form? Person form. Create one empty form. Form equal to which form? Empty form. Then render this. Response equal to render request comma. What is the name of the template? Person template. Person template dot HTML, comma, context. Give the context. What is this? Form. And what is the name of the object is? Form. You are rendering the form and return. What do you return here? Response. When? If the request method is what? Get. Create a form and render it and return the response. Which form? Empty form. If the request method is not a get, means after filling the data, click on what? Submit. Then it's a request method get or post? Post. Then it will come to here and it will check. Is it request method is a get or post? Post. Then it will come to which block? Else block. It will come to which block? Else block. Now in else block, you are creating a form. Which form? Person form by storing which data? Post data. Why you store this post data again into the form? Because to check is it the data is valid or not. If form dot, if form dot is valid, if form dot is valid, now suppose I said here request dot post form dot is valid. If the data is valid, form dot is valid. If it is valid, what you have to do? You have to generate a response by saying you have to generate a response. See here. But here I created a person form by storing which data? Post data to check whether this data is valid or not. To check this data is valid or not here, right? Yes. Now response, I'm just writing here. So message, valid data. So I try to render in the same template. Response, I'm creating a response from django.http import. Which response? HTTP response. Now you are generating a response by saying that data is input data is what? Valid. Input data is valid. And return, what do you return? Response. Otherwise, you have to render which template? Or otherwise, you have to render which template? Error template. Error template where I'm saying response equal to render. Okay, render request comma person template dot html comma context. So context is a form is a name, and form is what here? Object. And return, what do you return here? Response. Return the response here, right? So this is when if the request method is what? Get. But if the request method is post, you store the data and do it. That's all, very easy. Now finally you have to render the form or not? Yes. So table, because you render it as a table. So we'll develop very good applications, but first you should learn first. Form dot as what? Table. And create two fields. Input type equal to what? Submit. Input type is a submit. Values, I give the same. I says table column. So input type is a submit. Sorry, reset. Input type is a reset. And value equal to what? Reset. Value equal to reset, right? Right. Form method. Form method equal to post. You're submitting the form using which method? Post method and define CSRF. CSRF, what is that? Token. Okay, define this particular token because post is a secured request, right? Then next one is what do you do it next? Go to urls.py. Go to urls.py from application.views import. What is the name of the view? Person view. And give the name public URL name. What is the name I give? Person view only, comma person view, right? And install the applications. Go to settings.py, install the application, and define the template path. So what is the template path? Base directly slash templates. Cutting or not? Base directly slash templates. Understood? Right? You are rendering the templates. Then next is just check where is this template, right? So render the template or not? Yes. So go to terminal. So this application is very fast. Run the server until unless no database, don't use migrations, right? So what is the name of the URLs? Here it is displayed. What is the name of the view? What is the name of the view? Person view. Enter the name. Name is entered. Email should be entered. Okay. And age should be entered, right? So just some age and click on submit. So input data is what here? Valid. But in the name, I said A 123. Click on submit. Oh, input data is valid. Name should contain only. Are we checked or not checked? We check the validation or no? Regular expression validator. Well, check this. Enter the email ID. Enter the name. Enter some email ID. I'll enter 140. Submit. So ensure that this value is less than or equal to what? 100. I don't require to display errors because these errors are displayed. These errors are what? Displayed automatically. Okay. I don't require to do this. But these are, see, actually, now this is a token. CSRF token is generated or not? Yes. Now, now when you're talking about email validation, so required, now you can see this is one and there is error and input type. Input type is what? See here, this input type is what? Text. And this input type is also what? Text. And this input type is, what is input type is? Number. And here given minimum value as well as maximum value. Okay. Minimum value as well as maximum value. Okay. Suppose I just given the value is some 60. And if I click on submit, the input data is what? Valid. If you want, you can write a condition. If data is valid, then only display what? Errors. Okay. Suppose email validation is there. I don't write .com. Means, is it this format is valid or invalid? Invalid. If I click on submit, enter a valid email address. enter a valid email address, right? So in the same way, this name, okay, we are using which validator? Regular expression validator. Okay, just a minute. First, we'll check for minimum length and maximum length. Okay, okay. So what is the minimum I've given? The minimum is given some three. Minimum is given some three. Here I've given two. And there is a email. Enter the email. Enter what here? Age. If I click on submit, I can see ensure this value has at least how many characters? Three characters. So it is trying to execute minimum length as well as what? Maximum length. Maximum length is how many letters? 15. But what will happen if I give more than 15? Then if I click on submit, you can see ensure that this value has at least how many characters? 15. But it has how many characters? 76 characters. It has how many characters? 76 characters. Submit. Now input data is what? Valid. But is it these are inbuilt validators or not? Yes. Now let me check for another. What is that? Hmm. Regular expression validator. Here I'm removing this minimum length and maximum length. I'm using a validators. Here I'm using a validators. Which validator? Regular expression validator. Regular expression validator. And here you have to define the regular expression. What do you have to define? Regular expression. Regular expression, you have to define it. What is my regular expression is? The expression, now name should contain only what? Alphabets. I'm writing A to Z and small A to Z repetitions. Minimum repetitions are 3 and maximum repetitions are how many? 13. Minimum repetitions are 3 and maximum is how much? 15, right? Minimum 3. This is called repetition range, right? I should contain only alphabets which range from A to Z. That is capital A to Z and small A to Z. This is a pattern, right? What is this pattern is? Range. You can give range of characters within square brackets. Within the square brackets, you can give the range. And what is the range? Alphabet range is what? A to Z and small a to Z. But how many repetitions? Minimum is how many? 3. Maximum is how many? 15. And if you want, you can define even message. Which message? Error message. You can define the message. You can define your own message. What is the message? Name. Name must contain only which one? Alphabets. Name must contain only alphabets range from 3 to what? 15. Now this is my own message. If you want, you can define your own message. If you want, you can define your own message, right? So by using which attribute? By using which attribute? Message. You can define your own error message. बोलो यार. हाँ बोलो. अंकित. A to Z I said. Small a to Z or capital A to Z. Okay, right? Any letters you can use it. Hmm. Now come to this. So person view, enter the name. So minimum is, okay, I write only two. So email is given and age is given and submit. Bad character range, small a to z. This one, right. Okay, submit. Now you can see name must contain only alphabets range from 3 to what? 15. Okay, I'll try to give three alphabets and say submit. Input data is what? Valid. Input data is valid. Now if I'm trying to give numbers, now name should not contain numbers. If I say submit, now name must contain only alphabets range from 3 to 15. Right? So, but how I define this? By using one pattern. Which pattern? This is called which pattern? Regular expression pattern. Regular expression pattern, and use a regular expression, and here only I define minimum as well as what? Maximum. Then you don't require to define minimum length as well as maximum length. You don't require to write minimum length and maximum length. Right? But these are which validators? Alright, these are which validators? Built-in validators. Apart from this, you can create your own validators. Apart from this, you can create your own validators, and that you call it as which validators? Custom validators. The validators built by the programmer are called which validators? Custom validators. But you understood this? Bolo here. Okay? Yes. These are predefined validators. Validation is very important. You know that because you give a form, if whatever you want will enter, but your program should verify or not. Yes. This is wrong. This is wrong. Right? Yes. So this is forms.py. Sorry. Now we'll see here how to store in the database. We'll see here if the data is valid, then I want to put inside what? Database. I want to insert data into database, but we are not doing that. Okay, na? We'll do how to insert data into database. Date of birth field. Date of birth field is which field? Date field. Date of birth field is which field? Date field. We'll see here how to communicate with models. We'll see. अरे फर्स्ट यही समझ में नहीं आ रहा, इसके अंदर मॉडल लिखे तो खत्म. ఆ, ఇదే ఎట్లా ఎట్లనో అర్థమవుతుంది. సగం దిమాకులోకి వెళ్తే సగం పైనుంచి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. ఆ, అవునా కదా? కొందరికైతే ఏం అర్థమే కాదు. ఆ, समझ में आता नहीं आता? हाँ? हिंदी में वही बोल रहा हूँ यार, थोड़े थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ में आता, थोड़ा लोगों को पूरा समझ में नहीं आता. सही है नहीं? फिर भी सुनते हो लोग. राइट. बट यू हैव टू try to understand because it's a new technology, right? You are moving from Python to web, front end to back end. अब फ्रंट एंड अच्छा सीखे तो बैक एंड इजी रहता. दैट इज अ प्रॉब्लम अगेन. Okay, right? So we'll include models. Don't worry. Okay. This is person template dot html. If if I include all, you'll be confused. पहले ही कंफ्यूज में रहते हो आप लोग. हाँ, अंधे కదా? पूरा कंफ्यूज कंफ्यूज रहते हैं आप लोग. ज्यादा फिर कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं। इसलिए आई एम राइटिंग, थोड़ा थोड़ा लिख रहा हूँ बस उतना ही। हाँ? अभी वो भी थोड़ा बोले तो एटलीस्ट यू हैव टू राइट अ फंक्शन, राइट? एटलीस्ट वी हैव टू राइट अ फंक्शन। ये थोड़ा बोलते, ज्यादा बोलते, थोड़ा ही है। प्रोजेक्ट बोले तो इट रिक्वायर्ड लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स। यू राइट वेरी बिग लॉजिक्स, लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स यू राइट इट। और लिखना यार आप लोग। हाँ, URLs dot okay, right? Now next thing is how to build your own validators. These validators are there. If you want, you can also build your own validators, and that you can call it as which validators? Custom validators. Now, custom validators. Now, what is the validators are reusable? Validators are what? Reusable. You can write validators, your own module called validators. And within that validators, you can write so many validators. And those validators can be used either in one application or more than one application. It means validators are generic. Generic means it is used with what any type of application. For example, you write a clean methods, but clean method is also validation or not? Yes, but those are application specific. For example, you are checking account type validation, balance validation, okay, and what is that course validation? These are specific. These are specific to what? Only one field, one type of field. It is not applicable to all the fields, right? Course validation is used only with what? Course type. Okay, right? Okay. And what do you call it as? Mobile number validation is used for any application. That is global validator. That is global validator that can be used either one time or more than one time, either with one application or more than one application. But clean is only for one field. But validators can be applied to multiple fields. Once you develop validator, that can be applied to multiple fields, that can be applied to what? Multiple applications. That is the main advantage of which one? Validators. But clean is applicable to only one method, one field, one field only, but not for multiple fields. If it is multiple fields, you have to write the same logic again and again. But instead of writing the same logic again and again, you put that inside one validator and use it either with one field or more than one field. Is it providing reusability or not? Yes. So validators are reusable, but clean methods are not reusable. It is applicable to only one field. It is applicable to only one field, but not multiple fields. Then next we are talking about custom validators. Custom validators or user defined validators. Okay, right. So what is a validator? Is a function or a class. You can develop validators either by using a function, either by using a class. Anything you can use it, but it should be callable. Which one is callable? Function is a callable. You can call the function, but can you call the class? Can you call the class? No, you cannot call the class. But if you want to call the class, you should implement one method called call. I should implement one magic method. And what is the name of the magic method? Call. You should implement one magic method called call. Getting on it. Until unless you don't implement that magic method call, your class will not become what? Callable. Getting or not, right? So custom validators are user defined validator. So custom validator is condition, checking validation or input data is correct or not. Okay. So custom validator is a function, is a function or what? Class. It is a function or it is a class which is used, okay, which is used to perform what? Validations. To perform validations. Validation is nothing but input data is correct or not. That is called as what? Validation. Validators are validators are reusable. Validators are what? Reusable. Reusable means once once a validator is developed, it is used. It is used with one or more than one field. It is used with one or more than one field or multiple applications. Multiple applications. Okay. Right. So what are the basic steps? First, you create a validator. Basic steps. What are the basic steps? First step is, okay, create validator. Create validator. And second is apply. Apply what? Validator. Create it and then apply. How you create a validator? Either by writing function or class. Then how you apply the validator? By using an attribute. In the form, there is an attribute or not? Yes. What is the name of the attribute? Validators. But these are predefined or user defined? Predefined. But now you are creating which validators? User defined. Getting or not, right? So tomorrow I'll tell you how to apply which validators. Custom validators are user defined validators. So today we'll stop it here and tomorrow we'll continue this. Thank you.